We're not live. Thank goodness. I should have pressed record earlier because I had a big burp.
R.I.P. burp.
So you guys will have to trust us that I did burp.
It was beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Thank you. I need you to rate my burps all the time. All right, we're ready to... I still can't find a bottle opener, which I'm bummed because I specifically have a Wonder Woman one. Cannot find it.
Sad.
I got a can opener.
Nice.
Let's see. Wait, fuck. Maybe?
Yes. Be careful. Ooh. Yes.
ASMR. Quarantine, but not quarantine.
The
social distance, but it's sort of. Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know anymore. I'm like, we should be social distancing and quarantining, but we're not.
We were good for a while, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still being safe when we're out, so.
Oh, yeah.
So we're good. Let's see how this beer I actually got on your birthday weekend.
Shit. That's a long time ago. That was before quarantine.
That was. I don't think. Does beer go bad? I don't think so,
Google.
right?
Hey, Google.
Hey, Google, I'm a dum-dum.
Can beer go bad?
According to Spoon University, beer typically lasts for 6 to 9 months past the expiration date on its label. If the beer is refrigerated, it can last up to 2 years beyond the expiration date.
Nice. I just got a text message from Danny.
Tell Danny I say hi and I love her and I miss her.
Aww.
Okay, I think it's fine. I can't find expiration date.
I believe in you. 6 to 9 months. We're good. It's only been not that long. It's beer, though. That makes sense for that face.
You know, like in coming-of-age movies where everyone's drinking beer and having a good time. How? Bread water. I don't get it. Like, you could give me straight vodka and I'd probably be fine, but...
That reminds me, I have tequila, and I put it in my slushie.
Is it your McDonald's slushie?
Mm-hmm.
For those not watching, V has her little McDonald's cup, and it's a little McCafe.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's tequila in it, so I'm proud of you, buddy.
It was a pink lemonade slushie.
Ooh, was it good?
I didn't try it before the tequila. I was like, pink lemonade's good with tequila. Why not?
Yeah. Sounds like a good combo to me. Fun stuff. Well, my friend, how was your week since I last saw you?
We saw each other this weekend.
We did.
The last weekend of August. We didn't record because we were just chilling because we friends. And we chill.
We friends. Aw, we are friends. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
I'm not going to put this shot in just on its... I'm dumping it in a drink. I'm not doing shots on this. I'm not recording myself during shots, at least. Like, no. You've seen me take shots? My face is not something I want recorded if I'm taking shots.
You saw my face after drinking this beer. The world now knows. Also, guys, now I have it in audio multiple times that Via said we're friends, so she can't take it back. Just saying.
Damn it. Oh, well. Guess we gotta be friends or something.
Woo, woo, woo. Let's see. Did anything fun happen? I was supposed to get my hair permed today, but because it has already been bleached and dyed, if I did the perm, it would have melted my hair off. So I've got to wait a few months, and then maybe I can get a perm.
Gotta do some like hair treatments to like grow the strength back in your hair.
Yeah, I guess like once you bleach hair, like it also has trouble just curling in general.
Mm-hmm. It like ruins the core of it or some shit.
Basically. But quarantine me was like, fuck it, bleach my hair.
See, when I was in quarantine, I just shaved my head so many times. I'm just like, how much more can I shave before I'm bald?
How much more did you get to your eyebrows?
I got to my eyebrows at that point. Now they're back. They're back.
Back with a vengeance.
They're filled in, but they're back. Now that I'm working and I'm just like mental breakdown every 3 weeks or 3 days, I've bleached my hair like at least 4 times trying to get it as light as I need it to be. And it still has orange in it, and I don't know why.
I think it looks super cute though. Like it goes with your aesthetic, very much so.
My fuckboy aesthetic?
Guys, we made fratsonas.
That's right.
We were just like sitting in V's room. Who was it? Was it Alex?
I think it was Alex.
I was like, what would you guys be if you were, like...
We were talking about like in a fraternity.
There we go.
In a fraternity. And then it turned into, well, we're just making our own like different college OCs self-insert. And we're like, we wouldn't be in a frat. We would never make it into a frat.
Is this what normal 20-year-olds do?
I hope so, because that's all I want to
do. That was so much fun. Mine would be the gay art boy. Sorry, the pansexual art boy with curly hair, stripes. Says he's woke, possibly may not be. That type. You know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately.
I would be the one that's too far in the closet for my own comfort until I can have that real, true gay panic on someone that do you think I would be
be at a party and I would send cute boys over to you maniacally?
Like how you've done at actual parties, and then I'm like, I will say something stupid, so then we'll fight instead.
You're welcome.
This is why I'm single, because I do not know how to, especially if I know that someone's trying to hook me up with someone, I'm like, I must make you upset.
Deflect. Come on.
Yes.
No emotions. Only
no emotions allowed.
Deflection.
Exactly.
I tell you, so one of my mutuals, one of my buddies lives in Illinois. They've been listening since pretty early on, and so I was like, hey buddy, can I send you a t-shirt, because I'm very happy that you've been listening. And so I sent them a t-shirt.
Aw,
so
I love the t-shirt.
A few days. Thank you.
I should have worn it.
Next time.
I'll
have remember mine.
I have it right staring at me across my room, but
it's taunting you now.
Just staring at me.
Deedly. Let's see. Since we're here, since we're queer, since I am unfortunately full of beer, would you like to share a story?
Yeah, tell me a story.
Woo. All right. So I wonder if you can guess my story at all. It is a paranormal story on this fine day.
Dude, I will be honest with you. All of the paranormal stories that I've known, we've already done.
So that just means everything's new and exciting, which is
exactly.
Cool.
I'm like, I know nothing, so tell me everything.
That's why I'm here. And then the hyperfixations come, and then I'm like, let me research the death out of a single topic.
Gosh, I missed that hyperfixation on things that are important to me now, because I'm all like, oh, this is a thing that I should look up. No, I don't want to. Do I want to look up stuff about the colors of the rainbow? Maybe. I haven't done it yet, but I think about it. In color theory, but ain't got no time.
What is it? Huevember? And after Inktober?
Maybe.
Huevember.
Have you seen all that controversy about Inktober?
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
Crazy.
I was like, what the fuck? So maybe I'll just do my own.
And it's also smart that people are like, this is just it's just burning people out, feeling like you have to do one every single day, one piece of art every single day.
Well, because I think it started out as a good idea, kind of getting people to draw, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But then it definitely turned into a competition of what masterpiece can you create for 31 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too much.
Yeah. Because what is it? There's that writing the writing one in November, and I'm like, I've always wanted to do it, but I'm like, there's just so much. That's gonna just burn me out if I was to write that much.
Could you like select ones that sound fun to you? Because I kind of feel like doing some Halloween themed drawings personally.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm like, you can just do whatever your heart desires. Like, there's no point in following what everyone else wants to do or what everyone else thinks you should be doing. Like, just do what makes you happy.
Exactly. Like all my Cadora drawings, which I'll probably cut this out of the episode. Still, I have like 5 fucking drawings that are just like sitting there. I'm like, I don't think I could post these right now.
Yeah, with all the controversy going on right now, it's kind of like, I'm glad that they owned up, like the creator owned up to it. And it was all like, dude, like, I definitely need to reflect on this and like do better. And like, I don't need someone to defend me because like I am in the wrong for this kind of what happened.
No, I think they handled it really well. But the thing that got me was like that one person spreading just all that misinformation, which really sucked. Because like, okay, here's the things that were wrong, and then here's the things that were taken out of context and blown up and weren't bad in context, you know?
Yeah.
But it sucks because like, for a lot of people, that reputation's gonna still be hurt. Lesbians can't have any nice things. Not allowed.
That's true. We're not allowed. I'm not a lesbian. I shouldn't say that. God, I wish I was, but men exist and I must suffer.
God, apparently if you like drink beer wrong, it all comes up. What the fuck?
Nasty.
I'm
sorry.
Let's see. I'll just be sticky. We're good. We're doing great, guys. I'm living. Maybe I'll just send you my Cadora drawings.
Do it.
So look at this Catra being gay with this Adora.
Do it. I love Catradora. Catradora.
Because it was weird, like finally having just a series that hit hard. I'm like, oh, I'm inspired.
And then have everything just go to shit. Like 2020.
I was just again, I guess just the internet being the internet and you know, fun things like that. Well, in sort of lighter news, would you like to hear a story?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, I've got Paranormal Free today. Have you ever heard of a certain painting that is said to cause fires? Moo has, apparently.
Moo, stop talking. Stop spoiling the story. Moo. Happy birthday, boy.
Is it his birthday?
It's his birthday.
Birthday boy.
Happy birthday, Jungkook.
God damn it.
He's 11 at least.
Aww. So is my boy, 11 or 12.
Aww,
they're little old men. Missing
they're little
teeth.
old men.
Missing some teeth.
Also, I think we forgot to mention that as we're recording this right now, it is 1 year since we began recording Tipsy Mysteries. What an amazing, incredible journey this has been.
So, guys, I don't know if anyone would remember. So, the first 5 episodes we recorded ahead of time. So, September 1st was our like official like first recording day. We recorded that very first episode.
Yes.
And then we ended up releasing everything.
Like
it was
December?
Christmas Eve. Yeah, Christmas Eve. Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of trial and error, but
birthday to us.
Right?
You have to yell at Abby.
Happy birthday, Tipsy Mystery.
Ah.
Woo, woo, woo. Today's also Moo's birthday, apparently.
Happy birthday, Moo.
Moo Moo, happy birthday. Moo Moo.
He was boofed earlier.
Yeah, he boofed.
in.
Oh.
Work. But his little moo boof that he does. We got a little sausage boy over here.
Ah.
Being a baby. Baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
My little sausage.
Birthday boy.
Yeah, so happy birthday to us.
Yeah.
We've come very far. Yeah, you're right. A lot of trial and error.
A lot of trial and error.
Because before we started, I'm like, I've never edited audio in my life. Let's start a podcast.
And I am like, I'll eventually learn how to research something, and I haven't.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink. Is this episode
27?
Is this 27?
26?
Let's see, because one that just came out was I think this is 28.
28?
Because we just released wait. Let me one second.
Release 25.
How have we gotten this far? Do you know?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Okay, so we just released 25. We already recorded 26. That was I'll cut this out. That was the King Tut and John Wayne Gacy. And then that's what I'm editing now. And then we've already recorded 27, which was Bobby Mackey's Music World and Code Adam.
Yes.
So this is 20. This is 28.
Shit, I'm off.
When did that happen?
That's crazy.
Oh,
We've done 28
weird.
episodes.
In a year.
In a year.
Guys, what's the standard? How are we doing? We don't
I
know.
hope that we're doing better than we did before.
It's been nice to finally see, like, the chart go up with listeners over time.
That's the craziest part to me, is knowing that there's people actually who do enjoy.
Right?
I love that. It makes me happy.
Makes me so happy because, guys, podcasts are a weird amount of work. So it's very nice to know that people are listening to.
Yeah, that's not just like I would still probably be doing this if it's just literally just us just talking about these things.
Oh yeah.
I probably wouldn't be going like, oh, what do I like? I probably would actually be like, let me just read all these Reddit articles to you instead.
Ooh, see that sounds fun and spooky though.
It would be fun and spooky, but there would be a lot of editing in that if it was in the podcast. But like we would still probably be talking about the same exact thing without mics.
You're right. So we're taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Oh yeah, a story. Okay.
Yes, your story. Finally, let's get to the story. Paranormal paintings that make fire.
Have you
don't
heard of
understand. I never heard of this before. I
Are
want
you
to know.
Ready, my dear friend, my dear listeners? Are y'all ready to hear? Is she done? Okay. For suspense, apparently. I'm going to tell you all about the Crying Boy paintings.
The Crying Boy paintings.
Yes. This one, spooky. So, are you ready?
No, but okay. Tell me.
Cool. Okay. So, I'm going to tell you how it started.
Yeah.
So, in the middle of the night in England, a home in South Yorkshire succumbed to a fire. The living room was burned to a crisp as drapes and furniture were reduced to ash. The owners of the home, Ron and Mary Hall, lost nearly everything to the blaze, except for one item. A painting of a crying boy. His wide eyes looking out from the wreckage, completely untouched by the flames. When firefighters arrived, they entered the home, and one reportedly stated, quote, "Oh no, not another one."
Not another one!
This wasn't the first time a picture of a crying boy had been found amidst the ashes of a torched home.
Oh my god.
So imagine your house goes up in flames. You're like, well, fuck. The firefighter comes in and is like, not another one. What do you do in that situation?
I would salt everything. I'm like, I'm going to become a salt miner. Salt my life. What is happening?
There we go. We're going to open up our own salt and sage shop. Boosh.
Yeah.
So that incident happens with Ron and Mary Hall. So following that, on September 4th, 1985. So this all takes place in around the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
There was a British tabloid called The Sun. And
Mm-hmm.
so just remember this tabloid, they're important. So they published an article called, quote, Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy Picture. And it was a story about a very unlucky painting that caused fires. So it was supported by the comments of a local fire station officer.
Mm-hmm.
And these paintings, the firefighter said, turned up mysteriously unscathed in fires across the UK, all of which started spontaneously. So,
I don't like
cat yelling. It gets better / worse. It's fine. So they published that article. They published that story. Following that, the Sun received several calls from different people claiming to have similar experiences after buying the painting. So It wasn't just like one instance. It was like a shit ton. And so for their next article, the Sun published these claims from other victims. Do you want to hear about some of them?
Yes.
Woohoo! So there was a woman in Surrey. She lost her house to a fire 6 months after buying the painting. And so, again, when these fires happen, it like just totals everything. So they're bad fires.
Okay,
but the paintings are still there.
Do they have home insurance during this time? Like, can you put and like make sure you have fire like on your insurance plan to make sure that you can make money off of this? So you buy the painting, you make sure you have the insurance, and then your house burns, and then you buy a new house.
I think you're onto something. What was like? I think it was back in episode 4. We were talking about like demon insurance.
Yeah.
So okay, you get the painting, you get some demon insurance.
Yes.
I think you're onto something here. I have no idea the insurance policies of England in 1985, but
85. Man, I would be on top of that. And then they see the painting, they're like, your insurance is void now because we know what's going on.
So they don't get the money if they find the painting, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it's a scam. I just came up with a scam. Oh. It's a scam.
Damn, I was really invested in demon.
It's a great plan. If only I didn't say it out to the world. If I kept it to myself, got like a new, better insurance on my house, but like make sure that like I have fire protection shit, whatever. Make sure I have everything I have in my house documented to be like, okay, I'm getting money for all of these things if they go down in a fire.
Yeah.
Then I get the painting. No,
Boosh.
I could never. If my house goes out in fire, like I've been cursed, just so you know.
I doubt you'd ever keep this painting in your house. FYI.
I would never probably look at this painting in person.
But I need you to look at the painting.
In person.
Okay, can you look at it over the internet?
I'll look at it over the internet. But not in person.
You look at a picture of it, I will tell you about these other fires. So yeah, the woman in Surrey, after 6 months, she lost her house to the fire. There was 2 sisters in Kilburn. Both had fires in their homes after each buying a copy of the painting. One sister even claimed to have seen her painting sway backwards and forwards on the wall a few days before the fire.
Wait, so not even the original painting, just like a copy of the painting, like just a printed copy of it?
Yes. So don't you worry. I'll tell you in just a sec. But yeah, these are all prints of a painting, a few different variations, but give or take. So people just had them in their houses. So yeah, these 2 sisters both bought one. Both had fires. And then one was like, oh yeah, a few days before I saw it like swaying back and forth on the walls. You know, fun stuff like that. There was a concerned woman on the Isle of Wight. She attempted to burn her painting without success and then went on to suffer a run of bad luck. So she's like, I'm scared. I'm going to burn my painting. Doesn't work. Has a bunch of bad luck. There was a gentleman in Nottingham who possessed a print of the painting. He lost his home in a fire and his family was also injured. So, not great.
So, okay. Do I really have to see this painting?
Yes. There was also a pizza parlor in Norfolk. It went up in flames and it ended up destroying everything in that pizza parlor. And there was tons of paintings lining the wall. All of those were destroyed except for the crying boy.
What?
Tee hee hee.
I feel like if you've heard of this rumor, you wouldn't buy the painting.
Mm-mm. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got you. So it was also reported that even rational firefighters refused to have a copy of the crying boy in their homes.
Yeah.
And another firefighter claimed that he had seen personally at least 50 fires where everything was destroyed and the only thing left complete in each home was a picture of the crying boy.
Why is this crying boy so popular?
So,
are we getting there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good. Have you looked up the painting?
No. Do I have to look it up myself
Yes.
and have it on my phone inside my home?
Yes. You should be fine. I haven't seen any reports of like looking at the painting, doing anything. It's more like owning it in your house tends to make things not great.
Okay.
So, yeah, y'all listening, just go on your phone, type in the crying boy painting, and or don't
save it though. Don't keep it in your phone.
No,
I wouldn't trust. Why he's so sad?
You're gonna find out.
You could buy this for $15 off of Redbubble.
Why? No, do not do that, guys. Don't do that.
I don't understand.
So, to answer your question, the paintings themselves, they were mass-produced prints of the original piece, and they were available in most department stores during the 70s and 80s in England. Mm-hmm. And like, it was a really common item in these department stores. And so the crying boy paintings, for those who have not looked it up, I get you. They depicted a young boy with short blonde hair who is seemingly from an impoverished background, and he is looking out with sadness in his eyes and giant tears streaming down his face.
Yeah.
Kind of like imagine Ghibli tears a little bit, but like vintage Ghibli tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oddly enough, for whatever reason, I still don't know, the paintings were very popular with women and young couples. And so during this time, they were hung in thousands of homes across the UK. Like, this was not an eclectic item. Like, it's a popular item, which
it's like my BTS posters. They're so popular. They're everywhere in my house, so I have to make sure nothing is moving. Nothing is swaying my K-pop posters.
I'm just waiting for the days where your dolls knock over.
Don't.
They can't hear me. You have your headphones on. That's fine. So
it's fine.
Yeah.
BTS can haunt me. I've said this many times. Only BTS.
Only BTS. No one else. Please and thank you. So yeah, everyone has a print of this painting for whatever reason, because it's in department stores and it's cheap, and it's like, oh, look at this crying impoverished boy.
What a sad boy. House. I need him.
So allegedly some of the women that owned it, they're like, oh, I looked at his face and I felt like hypnotized a bit. Like I wanted to help him. So
I can get that.
But to like put it up in your house, I don't know.
I'm like, I don't understand the need to like have that hanging on my walls.
No, I'm good.
As I buy it off Redbubble.
Don't you dare.
I won't. I like my house. I don't want it to burn.
Me too. Hello, sir. That was my cat yelling. Don't quite know what about. Just old man yells at clouds.
I feel that.
So following the initial article that the Sun published, the one where it's like, the curse of the crying boy, ablaze, blah, blah. So later in October of 1985, the Sun offered its audience a solution. Editor Kelvin McKenzie made a formal announcement to readers saying, quote, if you are worried about a crying boy picture in your home, send it to us immediately. We will destroy it for you, and that should see the end of any curse, end quote. So the paper promised its readers that they would collect all the paintings and on Halloween night, arrange a bonfire to destroy the paintings once and for all.
I feel like that did not work out.
Yes and no. And then they were going to like document it and then report back to readers.
Yeah.
Early form of vlogging. There we go.
Exactly.
So they thought they were going to get, a few paintings. The son would end up receiving more than 2,500 copies
Wow.
of the painting, which they now had to destroy. Oh, so they're like, yeah, who gets it?
Moo.
My reaction too.
Moo.
He boof.
You're okay.
He says, no, I boof.
Moo. You're okay. It's okay. He's okay.
Okay. So they had all the paintings that had destroyed. They first attempted to hold the bonfire on the roof of their building.
Why?
But that idea was, quickly vetoed by the local fire department. They're like, you guys are trying to stop fires, right? Maybe don't hold a bonfire on the roof of your building. Just an idea.
Just an idea.
And so they found another location a little bit outside of town. And that's where they held the bonfire. And on Halloween night, 1985, all of more than the 2,500 copies of the paintings were burned. However, the paper, interestingly enough, did not mention how long it took to destroy the paintings. So all they said was that they were destroyed. They never gave any more info than that.
So how long did it take? No one knows.
We just don't know. So
I feel like you'd have to be like, okay, one painting, watch it disintegrate. Painting number 2. Painting number 3. I feel like it would take so long to get all of that done.
You think they just got bored and went home?
They're like, let's just make a house out of these paintings and then it'll burn down itself.
Well, allegedly, the editor of the paper, I guess an assistant tried to hang one of the paintings in his office. And he's like, I think the fuck not. You take that down, buddy. And he was also I'm a skeptic. I don't believe in any of this. But he's like, don't put that painting in my office.
I'm like, you write an article that has about all these correlations, at least, of these things happening. And you're like, I wonder. And it's like, I'm just going to hang this in my own house.
I mean, maybe don't. So by this point, you are probably wondering about the painting itself.
I am.
Are you ready to learn about this bad boy?
Yes.
You're welcome. So, the legend of the Crying Boy painting seems to have begun with the sun, and then has been fueled by the obscurity of the Crying Boy paintings artist. So at the time they had to go off of was the signature at the bottom of the painting, which was signed Giovanni Bragolin, which would turn out to be a pseudonym after no information on the man could be found. So they're like, who painted this? Tried to look up his name. Nothing's there. Well, fuck. So all that was known was that he painted hundreds of crying children, many of them street urchins, either in Italy or Spain. Finally, in 2000, there was a book of creepy stories called Haunted Liverpool. And they claimed that in 1995, so 5 years earlier, a well-respected school teacher named George Mallory, somehow he discovered that the painter was actually a mysterious figure named Bruno Amadio. So, I'm going to tell you about this painter.
Yes.
According to legend, this was it took him a while to figure out the names apparently, because this guy had 5 fucking names that he would just go by. But
understandable.
People generally agree that Bruno Amadio is his real name. So, according to legend, this guy. Amadio, he had fled to Spain soon after the end of World War II, and it was there in 1969 that Amadio met a young boy named Don Bonillo. Bonillo? Motherfucker, did my brain just give out?
I feel that.
Don Bolion? I've heard it pronounced, I think, 3 different ways, so I'm trying to remember which was the right way. It's Bonillo. Bonillo?
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 Don Bonillo.
Bonillo.
Nillo.
Bonillo.
Bonillo? Okay, we're gonna go with
I don't
that.
know.
Thank you very much. Because I've heard like bonito, but that didn't sound quite right. I don't know. Anyway, Don Bonillo.
Bonillo.
Bonillo. Okay, Don Bonillo. Thank you so much. Our boy Don. He was a mute orphan who had seen his parents perish in a house fire.
Oof.
And he was about 10 years of age. So this is when Amadio got his inspiration and began to paint a series of portraits of the boy. However, after showing one of his paintings to a local priest, just to be like, hey, this is what I'm working on, the priest recognized the boy and he gave Amadio a warning, saying that the boy in the picture that he had painted was evil and many mysterious fires broke out wherever he went, earning him the nickname Diablo from locals who avoided him at all costs.
That's insane.
So imagine like this little 10-year-old mute orphan is watched his parents burn a fire, and no one will talk to him because they keep calling him Diablo.
That's so sad.
So sad. So Amadio's like, I don't believe any of that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so soon after that, he actually adopted Don. And for a time, it seemed as though he had hit a streak of good luck after that.
Yeah.
Because Amadio's paintings, they were selling really well, and the two of them were living pretty easy. However, there are other sources that claim that Amadio actually abused Don Bonillo. Fuck, how did you say it? Bonillo. Though it's not clear how. It's a bit more vague, but...
Yeah. There's something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, so it could be that. Either way, one day Amadio found that both his house and his studio had burned to the ground. And as a result, he immediately blamed the young boy and kicked him out of the family and onto the streets. Oof. And so Amadio would never see Don again.
Yeah.
And so Don, he wasn't heard from again until 1976. So this is 7 years later.
Yeah.
When just outside of Barcelona, there was a car that had smashed into a wall and had burst into flames.
Oof.
The driver was killed and so horrifically burned that they could not identify who it was. And so upon investigation back at the police station,
yeah,
the glove compartment was able to be pried open of the car. There, among burned items, was the untouched driver's license. Want to know whose name was on the license?
Who was it?
It was our boy Don.
Ooh.
So he would have been 17 about that time, which would make sense for him to have the license in the car.
Yeah, that's so sad.
It's really sad. So it is said that of Amadio's paintings of crime boys... it is said that all of Amadio's paintings of crime boys were cursed by the memory of Don Bouillon. And so that's kind of where it comes from. Amadio himself, he actually died in 1981 and just took the secret of the painting with him. And he actually died before seeing his paintings gain popularity.
Yeah.
Because I believe it was an art collector that was like, he's over in Spain. It was like, hey, these crime boys, I like these. I'm just gonna do some reprints.
I'm just gonna mass produce these, because they're
credit to
good.
Artist.
Credit to whoever made this. But I'm gonna make money off of this. I'm gonna get the views.
That's super fun. So I guess to kind of like answer your flame question about the bonfire, I don't know how long it would have taken, but apparently in 2010, there was an attempt to test the curse. Because kind of like after they did the bonfire, things quieted down and there wasn't much about the paintings. And so again, 2010, comedian and writer Stephen Punt, who works for BBC, he's like, hey, I want to explore the legend on his radio show, Punt PI. And since most of like the myth surrounds the nearly unbelievable fire resistance of the painting, Punt bought a crime boy picture of his own. And so, hello, sir. After being inexplicably delayed on his destination several times, Punt began to feel nervous about the possible curse. because he's like, okay, I'm going to go test this. He's trying to get to his location. He keeps getting stopped. He's like, what's this about?
Yeah.
When he was finally able to meet with a construction researcher, Martin Ship, they wanted to test just how fireproof the painting was by setting it on fire.
Yeah, as one does.
As one does. So they placed the painting on top of a few cinder blocks with some kindling underneath and lit a match. And so there's a video of this you can find on YouTube. It's about 2 minutes long of the test they did.
Yeah.
It's spooky to watch. So they light the fire. Once the fire started, it began to burn the bottom right side corner of the painting away from the boy himself. So it's one of the variations. It's kind of in a corner where it's just some negative space.
Yeah.
And so slowly the flames grew, and eventually they rose to about 2 feet high. And as they burned a hole through the painting in that corner, they're burning, and then it keeps burning until it reaches the lapel of the boy's jacket. So the kind of the corner of his jacket, it's just reaching the boy. This is when the fire begins to die down until it completely extinguishes itself.
What?
So in under 2 minutes, the fire had burned the corner of the painting before completely going out, which, fires don't usually work like that.
Not usually.
No. So skeptics of the curse, most often point to the cause of the fires being due to human error with cigarettes and unwilling frying pans, but
a controlled setting where they were burning and testing out the flammability of this painting for it to just die out once it started touching the boy.
That's the part that gets me. Because other people have said that maybe the reason they don't catch on fire is a fireproof varnish, which, maybe so, but varnish can only do so much when a house goes completely up in flames, and yet this painting remains untouched.
Yeah.
If it was part of a house that was unburnt, sure.
Yeah.
But to have that be the only thing.
I don't know about that.
I'm not so sure.
Mm-mm.
So that's the story of the crying boy. I have some personal stories for you.
Ooh.
Since this was a very common painting for people to own.
Yeah.
So the
Can
first...
I also mention really quick how this story kind of reminds me when the Provo... What's it called? It wasn't a temple at the time, but it was a church on State Street in Provo. There was a fire a couple of years ago, and most of it burned down, but in one room, the only thing that was salvaged in one certain room was a picture of white Jesus.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nah. And I'm like, that's not normal. So I'm like, maybe that white Jesus was cursed.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
At first I was thinking maybe real Jesus was I like this fan art of me, I guess, and then saves it.
No. I'm pretty sure that Jesus is I'm not white. Why are they whitewashing me? I don't appreciate being whitewashed so much.
Y'all.
Jesus wasn't white.
Demon insurance is a scam, and Jesus wasn't white. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
It's true.
So, first of our little reviews, you could call them.
Yeah.
Is one person. So, quote, named Lou. Quote, "We actually had this painting in our condo, which traveled with us from New York. I was told that the boy was crying because if you look at the picture sideways, it looks like a face, a demon of a sort, can be made from the coat. We never had any fires, but then again, when the picture was packed along with other paintings, this one was in front and tape was used to hold them together for easy transport. Once the tape was removed, it left a cross imprint across the picture, which may be why we never had any issues." So that's fun.
That's interesting.
Weird, right?
It's very weird.
Ooh. So next one. This one's also, it's interesting. So this one is by Barbara. Quote, I did a needlepoint of the boy crying and have it hanging on my wall next to the opening of my family room. During Superstorm Sandy, a tree behind the family room fell, and instead of hitting the house, it went sideways, hitting the corner of the house. So thus doing very little damage, and instead hit my neighbor's house. It was a straight line from the tree to where the crying boy is hanging. To this day, I believe that the picture saved us from getting killed and totally destroying our house.
Wow.
I have never heard of someone doing, a cross stitch of the crying boy.
That's what I was thinking for a second. I was like, who would do that? But okay.
I guess in thread form, he has good luck. I don't know. This is a media diverse demon. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so the last one is by Jasmina. Quote, we had this painting in our apartment when I was 2 years old. We had a fire and the whole apartment almost burnt down. The only thing that wasn't black off of all the smoke was half of the living room. The half of the painting was hanging in. The thing that creeps me out the most is that my brother, who was 3 years old at the time, told everyone that it was me who started the fire. It was in the middle of the night and I was only 2 years old. How the fuck did I do that? Still creeps me out.
That's so weird.
So, what do you think the curse is of the crying boy? Curious.
I think it's probably just like a lot of pent up anger, because like this kid had suffered so much, and then to be kind of, what's the word? Well, he's pretty much used as a muse.
Scapegoat?
No, like
inspiration.
Like not even but like he's just pretty much used as a muse until he has no use anymore, and then he's just kicked out, and that's just like so sad.
I'd be pretty pissed too.
Yeah, and to also die by a fire, and then I don't know. It makes sense that like all of that anger, of like, and all of his life, all those weird coincidences that surrounded by fire is interesting.
Right?
Like he could have easily been followed by something that was causing the fires, and then that becoming trapped in those paintings of him would make sense too.
Oh, it seems like maybe he had a demon following him.
Yeah,
who was okay. So this demon was planning the insurance scam from the beginning.
That makes sense.
Playing the long game. It's a long game demon. Because like, I'll just have to you watch that video later, because it's just spooky how it goes up like nearly all the way up to the top of that picture and then just goes out.
It's so weird.
It's fucking weird. So that is the fun story of the crying boy paintings.
That was so good.
Thank you. It's a shorter one, but
yeah, but that's like still such an interesting story, because it's like it's not that long ago that it happened.
It's really not. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So people still can't explain it. I just like, again, that first part. The family's house goes up in flames, and then the firefighter comes in. Oh no, not another one.
Not another one.
Imagine you're a firefighter and you keep putting out these fires and you keep seeing this fucking crying boy paintings and you're like,
well, no wonder you wouldn't want it in your house if that's the only thing that's constant in all of these fires too.
It's just the crying boy paintings. See? I believe it.
Yeah.
What can you do?
There's definitely something going on with that. I would not buy it off of Redbubble.
Because I was wondering, like, what if you got it on like a t-shirt? Would that count?
What if you got them tattooed on you?
Oh, good point.
What would happen?
Guys,
because the cross-stitching, they were safe, but...
Which I wouldn't expect. So maybe it's like... Maybe it's the way it's made. So, like, if a person was cross-stitching it, like, out of, like, endearment? Appreciation?
putting in good energy into it instead of
Yes.
mass producing it in a selfish, greedy way.
Oh,
Maybe.
spooky.
It is spooky.
So that was my story.
I'm so sleepy.
You're so sleepy?
Mm-hmm.
We had no coffee.
I've had no coffee.
So you're just sleepy no matter what. There's no winning for you, bud.
No
No winning.
winning.
No winning.
No winning. Do you mind if I take a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll be right back.
Bye.
All right. And we're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Hope you enjoyed that small interlude of I have no idea.
Of what?
It's okay.
Oh,
Okay.
weird. I think you froze on there for a sec. That was spooky.
No, I just stopped here. I probably did freeze. Do you want to hear a story?
I do. I want to guess because that's my favorite game that we play every week.
Yeah.
So, what do we have? A paranormal, true crime,
True
conspiracy.
crime.
True crime. Okay.
True crime.
What decade are we taking this journey on?
These things happened in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Yes.
Do you think it's one that I would know?
I feel like you would have heard something about this maybe at one point, but not something that you would like intensively know.
Aha.
You might have had someone be like, mention it at one point. But like, you ever hear about that crazy thing that happened once? And you're like, nah, okay. And then go on with your day.
Aha. Before I forget, guys, if you guys aren't watching the video, our little name tags for today are Buff Lady Enthusiast for me, and then V parentheses Uckboy McGee for V.
Yeah. I always gotta make my name into something.
It's so good. I appreciate it so much. I give up. I'm excited to learn though.
Because the story happens in Ohio.
In Ohio.
Ohio.
It's like missing persons or murder.
Murder.
It's always murder.
It's always murder.
Murder.
My nose piercing is annoying me. So
I have no idea. Yeah. What is it?
This is the story about the murder of Marilyn Reese Sheppard.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Her husband, his name is Sam Sheppard, who went to jail for the murder. So it's a crazy story because it's mostly about how, because of the news coverage about it, they couldn't really have a fair trial for it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's sounding... Yeah, you're right. I probably heard it.
You've heard of it, but you're like, I don't really care too much about this, but...
We're gonna make you care, guys.
So I'll talk about Sam Sheppard a little bit. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Youngest of 3 sons of Richard Allen Sheppard. He attended Cleveland Heights High School, where he was a good student, and he was an active sports guy doing American football, basketball, and track. So there was a bunch of small Ohio colleges that offered him athletic scholarships, but he chose to follow the path of his father and pursued a career in osteopathic medicine. So it was in high school when he met his wife, Marilyn Reese. So after high school, he went to Hanover College in Indiana to study pre-osteopathic medical courses, and then took courses at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. And then he finished his education in L.A. in the Los Angeles Osteopathic School of Physicians and Surgeons, and was awarded the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree, which is like the same thing as Dad did.
Okay.
So,
dumb question. What does osteopath mean again?
Let's find out. I did not want to search that.
I'm sorry.
That way. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's pretty much
that word, but
let's see. It's a distinct branch of medicine, and it emphasizes in the interrelated unity of all systems in the body, to each working with the other to heal in time of illness. So it's kind of like learning about like all the different parts of your body and using all of that to kind of help, instead of just being someone who's specifically about like lungs or like internal organs, or not internal organs, like intestines or whatever, you know, like you have like a special like gastro whatever doctor and whatnot, or like a neuro doctor. Like this kind of doctor is like, you have to learn about all of the body and use all of the body to help in any instance where you're in pain or having issues, like, because it's all kind of correlating together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So they kind of look into like lifestyle and environmental factors into how that impacts your well-being and stuff. So that's that kind of stuff, which is really cool.
Or I could just like lose my mic. Everything's fine. We're doing great over here.
I believe it.
Jesus Christ. How did I have my mic set up before? This is probably fine.
I believe it. Are you good?
I think I'm good.
You're totally fine. So, where am I? Because I lost my spot.
He gets his degree, just like his father did.
Exactly. So after he finished doing all of his internship and residency at the Los Angeles County General Hospital, he married Marilyn in 1945 in Hollywood, California, and then they returned to Ohio a couple years later to join his father's growing practice at Bayview Hospital.
Okay.
So they were living like a good old jolly life, you know.
Yeah.
Though things took a turn on the night of July 3rd, 1954. They were Sam Sheppard and Marilyn were entertaining neighbors at their lakefront home on Lake Erie in Bay Village, Ohio. Let's see. They were watching the movie Strange Holiday when Sam Sheppard fell asleep on the daybed in the living room. Then Marilyn walked the neighbors out that night. Then the morning after, on July 4th, 1954, Marilyn Sheppard was bludgeoned to death in her bed with an unknown instrument. Just out of nowhere. Happy 4th of July, I guess, you know, the way things happen.
Bone apple tit, okay.
Right. The bedroom was covered with blood splatter, and drops of blood were found on the floors throughout the house. There were some items from the house, including Sam Sheppard's wristwatch, keychain, and key and fraternity ring that had seemed to be stolen. They were later found in a canvas bag in the shrubbery out behind the house. And then according to Sheppard, he was sleeping soundly on the daybed when he heard the cries from his wife. He ran upstairs when he saw a white form
was,
in the bedroom, and then he was knocked out unconscious. When he awoke, he saw the person downstairs. He chased the intruder out of the house down to the beach. They fought, and then Sheppard was knocked unconscious again.
Oh, whoa. Let's see.
By this white form.
Do you want to go, like, back a bit? Your audio and video, like, froze.
You're totally fine.
The last thing I heard was fraternity ring.
You're fine. Okay, I'm going to start from the beginning. So, in the early morning of July 4th, 1954, the morning after, Marilyn Sheppard was bludgeoned to death on her bed with an unknown instrument. So the bedroom, it was covered with blood splatter, and drops of blood were found on the floor throughout the house.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm. Some of the items that were missing in the house was Sam Sheppard's wristwatch, keychain, and key, and a fraternity ring. It looked like those were stolen, but they were later found in a canvas bag and some of the shrubs behind the house.
Oh, what?
Right? That's a little weird. So the story to Sheppard is that he was sleeping soundly on the daybed when he heard cries from his wife. So he ran upstairs. Where was I? He ran upstairs, saw a white form in the bedroom, and then he was knocked unconscious. When he awoke again, he saw the person downstairs, so he decided to chase them out of the house down to the beach where they tussled, and Sheppard was knocked unconscious again. I'm like, is there a reason why this guy keeps passing out? Like, or is this guy just getting bonked in the head every single time? It's just like, yoink.
That's what I'm wondering. Huh.
It's a very suspicious story.
I don't know about that.
By a white form. Just like aliens.
Okay, so we've had demons and now we have aliens.
Aliens.
Where are my cowboys?
Right? They're in there somewhere.
In my heart all the time.
In your heart. At 5:40 a.m., a neighbor received an urgent phone call from Sheppard, who pleaded for him to come to his home. When the neighbor and his wife arrived, Sheppard was found shirtless, and his pants were wet with a bloodstain on the knee. The authorities arrived shortly after, and so Sheppard seemed disoriented and shocked. They were really confused because, like, the family dog apparently was not heard barking to indicate an intruder, and their 7-year-old son, Sam Reese Chip Sheppard, was asleep in the adjacent bedroom throughout the whole incident.
In the adjacent bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some kids, like, sleep through shit. Like, I was a heavy sleeper as a kid.
Yeah, I'm like, you gotta grow. You gotta do your thing as a kid. But that's a lot to sleep through. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially, like, I imagine the dad would, like, freak out.
Yeah.
If he was telling the truth.
And then also just him just becoming unconscious so many times. I'm just like, what? Why you just keep passing out?
All I keep thinking is, like, that's a very convenient excuse for how the blood splatter would get around the house. You feel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me talk about the first trial.
Yeah.
Because his trial began in October 18, 1954, because nothing about this sounds innocent at all.
No.
The investigation and trial were notable for the extensive publicity, because some newspapers and other media in Ohio were accused of being biased against Sheppard, and the inflammatory
Inflammatory?
Inflammatory, that's the word. They were biased against Sheppard and the inflammatory coverage of the case. And they were criticized for immediately labeling him as the only viable suspect.
Damn. Also, I like how in every episode there's at least one word either of us can't pronounce. So thank you.
Of course.
Like I was editing episode 25 and I could not say degenerative for the life of me.
Degenerative?
Yeah, and you couldn't say, fuck, what was it? It was, I can't remember the actual word, but you kept saying planetarium instead. What was it?
Planetarium.
Oh,
Intergalactic.
This penitentiary?
Planetarium.
Maybe.
Probably. Planetarium. That sounds like something I would say instead.
Like I had like a bad stutter trying to say just fuck.
Degenerative?
Yeah. Together we make one functioning adult, one functioning brain cell with
one
ADHD.
brain cell with a lot of ADHD. Only half medicated.
You guys are welcome.
So there was a federal judge who later criticized the media, said, if ever there was a trial by newspaper, this is a perfect example. And the most insidious example was the Cleveland Press. For some reason, that newspaper took it upon itself the role of accuser, judge, and jury. So it seemed like the local media influenced the investigators. So on July 21st, 1954, the Cleveland Press ran a front page editorial titled, "Do It Now, Dr. Gerber," which called for a public inquest. And then hours later, Dr. Samuel Gerber, the coroner investigating the murder, announced that he would hold an inquest the next day. The Cleveland Press ran another front page editorial titled, "Why Isn't Sam Sheppard in Jail?" on July 30th, which was titled in later editions, "Quit Stalling and Bring Him In."
Oh shit.
And that night was when Sheppard was arrested for a police investigation. So they're literally pushing their agenda right there, being like, you gotta do something right now.
This is like a weird newspaper episode.
Right?
Yeah, that's very like bam, bam, bam. The 50s, am I right?
Right? We let the media do too much.
I mean, personally, I'm imagining these headlines being said in like the old-timey voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know the good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't do it, but I know what you're talking about.
Me neither. Lost cause.
Right.
Oh, well.
The local media ran salacious front page stories inflammatory to Sheppard, which had no supporting facts or were later disproved. During the trial, a popular radio show broadcast a report about a New York City woman who claimed to be his mistress and the mother of his illegitimate child. Since the jury was not sequestered, two of the jurors admitted to the judge that they had heard the broadcast, but the judge did not dismiss them. From interviews with some of the jurors years later, it is likely that jurors were contaminated by the press before the trial and perhaps during it.
Oh.
And then the U.S. Supreme Court later called the trial a carnival atmosphere.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So it seemed like because of the high-profile nature of the case, let's see. There was the lead prosecutor, John J. Mahon, who was running for a seat in the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas as the trial began. And so Mahon won this seat, and he served until his death in 1962. And so, like, prosecutors learned during their investigation and revealed at trial that Sheppard had carried on a 3-year marital affair with Susan Hayes, who was a nurse at the hospital where Sheppard was employed.
Yikes.
And so, like, they argued that the affair was Sheppard's motive for killing his wife. And then Mahone made the most of the case in the absence of any real direct evidence against the defendant, other than that he was inside the house when she was murdered. So Mahone emphasized the inconsistency in Sam Sheppard's story and that he could not give an accurate description of the intruder in the house.
Okay.
And I'm like, if you're going in court against someone and you don't really have much other than your story isn't good and you can't describe the person, like, it adds up. It's like, you can't really prove that you're not guilty.
I guess a lot.
But you can't prove that you're guilty, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Like, there's circumstantial stuff on both sides, so it's...
Yeah. Another issue that was brought up at trial was that there was no sand in his hair when Sheppard claimed to have had that fight on the beach.
Oh.
When he, like, lost his t-shirt, which the prosecutors speculated would or should have contained some of Sheppard's blood if he had been in that struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the prosecutor chose to make those assertions despite no t-shirt ever being found or presented as evidence. So part of the prosecution case centered around speculative questions like why a burglar would take the belongings in the canvas bag only to later ditch them in bushes outside of the Sheppard home. And then it was under those circumstances that Mahone had openly speculated that Sheppard had staged a crime scene. And because there was a lack of a murder weapon, it posed a problem for the prosecution. But the Cuyahoga County coroner, Samuel R. Gerber, nearly circumvented this discrepancy by testifying that a blood imprint found on the pillow beneath Marilyn Sheppard's head was made by a two-blade surgical instrument with teeth at the end of each blade, such as a scalpel. So as a doctor and a surgeon, that doesn't look good on you.
The fact that, like, the canvas bag full of this stuff, that just feels like so much of a red herring.
Right? So, like, you're stealing stuff and then you murder and then you leave the stuff. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah.
No.
Exactly. And then, inexplicably, Sheppard's lawyer left this vague assertion unchallenged. So I'm like, he needs a new lawyer if that was happening.
Yeah.
His lawyer later was denied access to the physical evidence by the judge and therefore could not argue any assertions as to blood droplets, murder weapon marks, blood splatter, physical marks on the body, or anything else.
Okay, on one hand, it sounds like this guy's guilty as shit, but on the other hand, it sounds like
this is definitely not a fair trial.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's definitely the problem. I'm like, it'd be a lot different if, like, all of this evidence was coming against him, but he was still getting that fair trial in it.
Yeah.
To show, like, hey, I don't know. Shady. Everything's shady.
Everything's shady. Welcome to our podcast.
Let's see.
Like your one fry you're eating.
Thank you. So the defense strategy was Sheppard's attorney, William Corrigan, argued that Sheppard had severe injuries and that these injuries were inflicted by the intruder. And then Corrigan based his argument on the report made by neurosurgeon Dr. Charles Elkin, who examined Sheppard and found that he had suffered a cervical concussion, nerve injury, many absent or weak reflexes, most notably on the left side of his body, and injury in the region of the second cervical vertebrae in the back of his neck. And then Dr. Elkin stated that it was impossible to fake or stimulate the missing reflex responses. That's interesting. I'm like, I feel like that's not so, I don't know, mind over matter. Like, you can do shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Me neither. So the defense further argued that the crime scene was extremely bloody, yet the only blood evidence appeared on Sheppard was a bloodstain on his trouser. And so Corrigan also argued that 2 of Marilyn's teeth had been broken and that the pieces had been pulled from her mouth, suggesting she had bitten her assailant.
Oh, God.
And then he told the jury that Sheppard had no open wounds. Though I'm like, how do we know that she actually bit the person, though? Like, she could have been biting something else and then lost her teeth. I don't know.
So which teeth did she lose again?
It just said 2 of Marilyn's teeth had been broken.
Oh, that's like, I feel like it takes a lot of force to break.
Yeah.
Teeth, which,
yeah.
It's weird either way.
It could, like, a lot of the observers had questioned the accuracy of that claim because she could have lost her teeth she could have lost them biting her attacker, but it seemed more consistent with the beating that she had received to her face and skull instead.
Yeah, that's
what I would be like, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that.
I think you can break your teeth biting someone.
I want to try.
Because I feel like breaking that's got to be...
Because I feel like there would have to be like a lot more force
than
against you.
Yeah, rather than you.
Yeah.
So my money's on.
Yeah,
the beating.
So, however, there was a criminologist, Paul L. Kirk, who later pointed out if the beating had broken Marilyn Sheppard's teeth, pieces would have been found inside of her mouth, and her lips would have been severely damaged, which was not the case. So I'm like, I don't know about that.
Maybe her teeth weren't broken at all?
I don't know.
This case is weird.
It's very weird. So Sheppard took the stand in his own defense, testifying that he had been sleeping downstairs on a daybed when he awoke. Excuse me. When he awoke to his wife's scream. It said, I think that she cried or screamed my name once or twice, during which I ran upstairs thinking that she might have been having a reaction similar to convulsions that she had in the early days of her pregnancy. I charged into our room and saw a form with a light garment. I believed at the time grappling with something or someone. During this short period, I could hear loud moans and groaning sounds and noises. I was struck down. It seemed like I was hit from behind somehow, but he had grappled this individual from in front of, or generally in front of me. I was apparently knocked out. The next thing I knew, I was gathering my senses while coming to a sitting position next to the bed, my feet towards the hallway. I looked at my wife. I believed I took her pulse and felt that she was gone. I believed that I thereafter instinctively or subconsciously ran into my youngster's room next door and somehow determined that he was all right. I am not sure how I determined this. After that, I thought I heard a noise downstairs and seemingly in the front eastern portion of the house. Then he had ran downstairs and chased after what he described as a bushy-haired intruder or form down to the Lake Erie beach below his home before being knocked out again. The defense called 18-character witness for Sheppard and 2 witnesses who said that they had seen a bushy-haired man near the Sheppard home on the day of the crime. So I'm like,
is he saying that there was 2 guys? Because if he sees the guy and then he gets knocked out from behind.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, how does he get knocked out from behind if he sees the man in front of him? But there only is one bushy-haired intruder.
And then I'm guessing
the light form.
Is he unconscious for a short amount of time? And then are they rummaging downstairs? But you've already murdered the person,
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think this guy is guilty as all hell, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough.
So, on December 21st, after deliberating for 4 days, the jury found Sheppard guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison. And then on January 7th, 1955, shortly after his conviction, Sheppard was told that his mother, Ethel Sheppard, had committed suicide by gunshot. And then 11 days later, his father, Dr. Richard Sheppard, died of a bleeding gastric ulcer and stomach cancer.
Jesus Christ.
It's just bad news everywhere.
Bad news bears.
Right? But he was allowed and he was permitted to attend both of the funerals, but he was required to wear handcuffs.
Okay.
And then in 1959, he voluntarily took part in cancer studies by the Sloan Kettering Institute for Cancer Research, allowing live cancer cells to be injected into his body. And then in 1963, on February 13th, Sheppard's father-in-law, Thomas S. Reese, committed suicide in an East Cleveland, Ohio motel.
Oh, okay.
Just a lot of bummers right there.
This is bad news bears all around.
Right?
Too many bears.
So Sheppard's attorney, William Corrigan, spent 6 years trying to make appeals, and they were all rejected. And then on July 30th, 1961, Corrigan had died, and then F. Lee Bailey took over as Sheppard's chief counsel. Bailey's petition went for a writ of habeas corpus and was granted on July 15th, 1964 by a United States District Court judge who called the 1954 trial a mockery of justice that shredded Sheppard's 14th Amendment right to a due process. The state of Ohio was ordered to release Sheppard on bond and give the prosecutor 60 days to bring charges against him. Otherwise, the case would be dismissed permanently.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm like, that case, trial was not in his face. Like, it was not fair at all. So the state of Ohio appealed the ruling to the U.S. Court of Appeals. The U.S. Court of Appeals Court for the Sixth Circuit, which on March 4th, 1965, reversed the federal judge's ruling. Then Bailey appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which agreed to hear the case in Sheppard versus Maxwell. So on June 6, 1966, the Supreme Court, by an 8-1 vote, struck down the murder conviction. The decision noted, among other factors, that a carnival atmosphere had permeated the trial, and the trial judge, Edward J. Blythen, who had died in 1958, he had been biased against Sheppard because Judge Blythen had refused to sequester the jury, did not order the jury to ignore or disregard media reports in the case, and when speaking to newspaper columnist,
Yeah.
When speaking to newspaper columnist Dorothy Kilgallen, shortly before the trial started, he had said, "Well, he's guilty as hell. There's no question about it." So then Sheppard had served 10 years of his sentence. 3 days after his 1964 release, he had married Ariane Tabenjohannes, a German divorcee who had been corresponding with him during his imprisonment.
Aha.
As one does.
As one does.
I don't know why or how. I've always wondered, like, what is it about these people who, like, decide to, like, mail and, like, write letters to people in jail? Like, it's nice to have a pen pal and stuff, but, like, to fall in love and get married to them?
You know, when you really like to take on DIY projects, you really just want to restore furniture.
And you just want to restore humanity.
Yeah.
Makes sense now. Makes sense. These are the people who want to fix others, and this is the perfect way to do it.
Depends on their charge.
True. So, Tibet Johans endured her own bit of controversy shortly after the engagement had been announced because her half-sister, Magda Ritschl, was the wife of a Nazi propaganda chief. So she tried to emphasize that she had no Nazi views, but by October of 1969, Sheppard and Tebe Johans had divorced. Not very surprised, to be honest. Seemed like it just didn't work out for some reason.
Who could have guessed?
Right? So, around 1966, they started to do the jury selection for the retrial.
Okay.
And the opening statements began 8 days later, which was after October 24th, 1966. That would be November 3rd?
I think so.
I don't know. I can't do math, especially with calendars and 31 days. So the media interest in the trial remained high, but this jury was sequestered, so they couldn't really they weren't allowed to look into it as much. The prosecutor presented essentially the same case as was presented 12 years earlier. Bailey aggressively sought to discredit each prosecution witness during cross-examination. And then when coroner Samuel Gerber testified about a murder weapon, which he had described as a surgical weapon, Bailey led Gerber to admit that they had never found a murder weapon and had nothing to tie Sheppard to the murder. In his closing argument, Bailey had scathingly dismissed the prosecution's case against Sheppard as 10 pounds of hogwash in a 5-pound bag.
Well, okay.
You gotta go dramatic. You gotta
go big or go home.
Exactly. Unlike in the original trial, neither Sheppard nor Susan Hayes took the stand, a strategy that proved to be successful because after deliberating for 12 hours, the jury returned on November 16th with a not guilty verdict.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. The trial was important to Bailey's rise in prominence among the American criminal defense lawyers, and it was during this trial that Paul Kirk presented the blood splatter evidence he collected in Sheppard's home in 1955, which suggested that the murderer was left-handed and Sheppard was right-handed, which had proved crucial to his acquittal.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, 3 weeks after that trial, Sheppard had appeared as a guest on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. And then he also had written a book called Endure and Conquer, which presented his side of the case and gave insight of into his years in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
Huh.
And then he also became a professional wrestler at some point.
I'm sorry.
Were you not expecting that? Yeah, because so he had a friend who soon became his father-in-law, who was a professional wrestler named George Strickland, who introduced him to wrestling and trained him. He debuted in 1969, August 1969, at the age of 45 as Killer Sam Sheppard, wrestling Wild Bill Scholl.
Okay.
So yeah, he had wrestled in 40 matches before he died in 1970.
He did 40 matches? God damn.
Right?
Also, side idea, we have our fratsonas. WrestleSonas.
I have to think about this.
Okay.
This is something that we'll have to talk about in depth one day. And
Let's
like we
let you
have to
guys-
be like in person talking about this.
I got you.
Yeah. So pretty much like after he was released from prison, like Sheppard had tried to open his own medical office in Ohio. But he was granted surgical privileges at the Youngstown Osteopathic Hospital, but his skills as a surgeon had deteriorated, and much of the time that he was impaired by alcohol. Pretty much like right after he was granted privileges, he had performed a disectomy on a woman and accidentally cut an artery, and so she had died the next day.
Holy shit.
And then not too long after that, he had nicked the right iliac artery of a 29-year-old patient who bled to death internally.
Oh my.
And so he had resigned from the hospital staff a few months later after wrongful death suits had been filed by the patient's families.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then 6 months before he had died, he had remarried for the third time, or the second time, I guess. It's his third marriage, to Colleen Strickland, who was the daughter of the professional wrestler. But at that time in his life, he had been reportedly drinking as much as 2/5 of liquor a day, which is like 1.5 liters of alcohol. It's too much. I put 2 shots in this, and that's too much.
Too much. So how old was he again when he died?
He died in 1970. He was born in 1923, so he was 46.
Oh, dang.
He had a young life. Pretty much he had died. He was found dead in his home in Columbus, Ohio. And the official cause of death was Wernicke encephalopathy, which is a type of brain damage that's associated with advanced alcoholism.
Oh, yep, that would do it.
Yeah. So he was buried in Forest Lawn Memorial Gardens in Columbus, Ohio, but his remains had been there until September 1997 when he was exhumed for DNA testing as part of the lawsuit brought by his son to clear his father's name.
Oh.
And then after that, he was cremated and his ashes were returned to a mausoleum at Knollwood Cemetery in Mayfield Heights, Ohio, along with those of his murdered wife, Marilyn. Because, like, I'm guessing, like...
Do we know the results of the DNA test that his son did?
Let's see.
Because I still am feeling like he was guilty as hell. But I don't know.
I'm not seeing it here. Let's see. In 1999, a lifelong friend of Sheppard and an administrator of his estate sued the state of Ohio for the wrongful imprisonment. And because of that, they had to exhume the bodies. Let's see. Because apparently she had Marilyn had a fetus in her that had never been noticed or testified about before. Which they were like, why didn't the coroner talk about this? And because of like the effects of the formaldehyde on the tissues, they weren't able to do a paternity test.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Huh. And also at the same time, like during the trial, they had mentioned that there was a handyman and window washer that had been over at the home a couple of times named Richard Eberling. And they're like, he could have been a suspect during this because he had confessed to like burglarizing places and showed the like detectives his loot whenever he was questioned about it. And it included 2 rings that had belonged to Marilyn Sheppard, but he had stole the rings in 1958 apparently after the murder. But
Okay.
Yeah. We don't know. Because, like, he also admitted that his blood would have been at the scene, at the blood scene, or the crime scene of Marilyn Sheppard. And I'm like, that's weird. But he's all like, it's because he cut his finger while he was washing the windows just prior to the murder and bled while on the premise. I'm like, that's a really weird thing to say. But, yeah, so they, like, try to put him as a suspect, but he did a lie detection polygraph test, and they're like, oh, he passed, he's fine. And it's like, that doesn't sound right.
The 50s, am I right?
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot to this thing. Like, there's a lot of things that are against him, and a lot of things where, like, maybe this was just the wrong place at the wrong time, and a lot just happening all at once.
Because what I keep thinking is, like, the dog not freaking out. So if it was the window washer that had been there previously,
it's very possible that he could have already gotten comfortable with that window washer and handyman. But, like, the door opens, my dog freaks out. He's, like, excited to, like, sniff some new people.
And plus, like, if it was the window washer, I feel like the Shepherd he would recognize.
Yeah. Unless he has, like, one of those, like, painting outfits that's, like, all white.
Oh, coveralls? Oh.
The coveralls. It would look like a white glow if you just woke up and you see that attacking. A white form. I don't know. Anyways.
Bonked on the back of the head, but...
Me neither. Nothing makes sense.
What's your opinion? Do you think he's guilty? Yay or nay?
Yay. Ish.
Percentage-wise, I'm doing like 70% guilty, 30% not guilty.
Yeah, I'm like 75-25, but for sure. Like, I feel like there could definitely have been some weird instance where, like, everything was against him at that moment, but there's not enough to say that he's innocent. But there's also not enough to say that he's guilty either.
It's tricky. Yeah, I think it was definitely an unfair trial. Obviously.
Everything was truly against him in that moment.
Oh, it's hard to say.
It's so hard.
That's such a good story, though. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Spooky.
Right?
Yeah, I'm going to think about that later because I'm like, God, what is it?
Aliens.
Boom. Done.
I solved it. If only Sam Sheppard knew me in 1950 something. If only I was there. I would have been like, it was aliens. And then I would also be in some sort of jail. But I would have known.
But you would have known.
I would have known. And then to get out of jail, I would draw myself a crying boy, burn the prison down, and be like aliens and demons.
So this has officially been Demons and Aliens episode.
Yeah.
Yes. So for title, I'm thinking it's Demon Insurance and
it was aliens.
It'll be the sequel to Aliens IDK.
You never know.
That's a good answer for anything. Either it was a dream or it was aliens.
Yeah. Why not both?
Why not both?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your words, chaotic bisexual.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
My sleepy boy.
That's me.
Rang.
I'm the sleepy boy.
You are the sleepy boy.
I'm so sleepy.
Mm-hmm. Well, my sleepy boy, do you have a song rec for this episode? Oh, if you guys want to talk to us, you can email us at tipsymysteries@gmail.com. You can also
talk to us
on Twitter and Instagram at tipsymysteries.
Yeah,
at tipsymysteries. Yeah, if you tag us in anything, we'll cry.
Please, I love to cry.
We love to suffer.
We love to suffer.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
What song? You know what song I've been having stuck in my head? It has nothing to do with anything that we've been talking about.
I understand.
But I've had Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji stuck in my head for like the past week. And it just makes me want to cry. I don't know why. I'm just like, look. The full moon is going to be in Pisces. Right now, the full moon hasn't happened yet. Because it's September 2nd is when the full moon is supposed to be in Pisces. Yep.
Are you going to be okay tomorrow?
I am not okay now.
Does that mean by the 3rd we'll be feeling less exhausted?
No, because something else is happening. Something's going to retrograde for like a month or like 3 months or something. I don't know. There's a lot of astrology things where it's like, enjoy this calm before the storm. We are going to be messed up.
What calm? I've been fucking exhausted. Not about it. Mm-mm. So your song was Dancing in the Dark. Or
Slow Dancing in the Dark.
By who again?
Joji.
Okay.
Joji.
I realized the other day that I never had officially requested Head by Prince.
Oh, you just made me read those lyrics. Or you read those lyrics to me.
That's right. I realized I never officially put it on the playlist. So this is me putting it on the playlist now. Boosh.
Yeah. This is the weirdest playlist that we've got.
It's a clusterfuck, but I love it. What, baby?
It's truly who we are as people.
It feels absolutely correct. Love it.
Well, one day I'll put Midnight Sonata by Beethoven. One day. Next week.
Guys. Well, my dear friend, do you have any parting words of advice before we go sleep?
Don't buy pictures of crying boys on Redbubble.
Don't do it. If you want, you can cross stitch, I guess.
Cross stitch for safety. Do not buy off Redbubble. Well, I mean, not like in general. Like, you could probably support small independent artists there. Don't buy crying boys on Redbubble.
Buy some She-Ra stickers instead, because that's what I've been doing. Whoops.
I want to buy all the plant stickers I find on Redbubble, because they have some really good plants ones.
Oh, like which ones?
I can't remember. It's been a hot minute, because like I had like over $200 worth of stickers in my cart at once, and I'm like, I need to stop.
I understand.
But they're just like really cute, like little just like, I really love Monstera. I don't know if you like the Swiss cheese plant, where like when it has a lot of sunlight, it gets like holes inside of its leaves.
Oh, that's so cool.
They're so cute. I've seen so many cute like little stickers of them.
Little stickers.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find Monstera plant. I'm burpy.
Me too, buddy. Burpy, sleepy boys.
Let's see. Look at that.
Oh, that's so cute.
I just like would find like random stickers like that and be like, I want them all. But yeah. Monstera leaves are the cutest.
They're so cute. What the fuck?
Right?
Love that. Love that.
You have any parting words of advice?
Before you're on a Zoom call for your college class, go poop, because you can't go poop in the middle of it.
I've never heard truer words than that right now.
I've suffered a lot this week, because like my class was from like 10 o'clock to 12:30, and so I had my breakfast right before then, and I had my coffee.
And then you got that coffee poop.
Coffee poop. So go
it's
poop.
Hard life.
Just go poop before, guys. Don't be me. Just
don't be Kate and need a poop in class. There's no way you can just raise your hand and be like, can I go to the bathroom?
You can't.
Like, I gotta, like, you can't just finger gun at the exit door, be like, I gotta go.
Whenever I die, I want this to be my immortalized legacy. is me.
Poop before class.
Yes, there we go. Poop before class. Don't buy crying boy paintings.
Don't buy crying boy paintings.
So I think that's all from us.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I've got nothing else.
Cool. Well, then
Yeah.
we're gonna go.
We're gonna go be sleepy.
We're gonna be sleepy.
Right?
All right. Well,
Have a good day. Have fun. Be safe out there.
Be safe, guys. We'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.